Bran thought about it. Can a man still be brave if he's afraid? That's the only time a man can be brave, his father told him. Born the fourth child and second son to Lord Eddard and Lady Catelyn, Bran is now a part of the current generation of the ancient House Stark of Winterfell. When Robert Baratheon's host is at Winterfell with the request of making Bran's father the Hand of the King, Bran witnesses Queen Cersei Lannister together with her brother Jaime mid-sexual act. Not wanting their secret affair to ever be known, Jaime shoves Bran from the window in an unsuccessful attempt to kill him. Comatose in the weeks after his fall, Bran receives odd visions of a three-eyed crow that tells him that while he'll never walk again, he will fly, but only if he's willing to learn. The crow shows him visions of current affairs all over the world, including what lies beyond the wall, and the crow tells him that this is why he must live, because winter is coming and it's either fly or die. Bran agrees, and the crow violently pecks at his forehead, as if giving him a third eye. Waking from his fall with no memory of the Lannisters, the newly paralyzed Bran realizes that these dreams mean so much more when the crow later visits him again, leading him in another dream to his father in the crypts of Winterfell. The next day, word reaches the north that Lord Eddard was beheaded as a traitor in King's Landing. With his father dead and most of his family gone, Bran begins to visit the Godswood more often, looking for a connection with the old ways and desperately seeking some understanding. It isn't until the War of the Five Kings is in full swing that Bran is finally given some more insight in the form of fellow prophetic dreamer, Jojen Reed. Jojen reveals that he has seen the three-eyed crow too, and that it resides far beyond the wall, calling to both of them, but distressingly he also says that he's foreseen the sea rising up and swallowing Winterfell. Bran is confused by this, since the sea couldn't be further from the northern capital, but it's here that we learn that the Green Dreams often speak in riddles. The sea that Jojen saw was actually an allegory for the Iron Islanders invading. With Bran's home destroyed by the skirmish between the Ironborn and Stark bannermen, he, Hodor, Meera, and Jojen set out to find the three-eyed crow beyond the wall. It's here that Bran further develops his skin-changing abilities, being able to warg into summer and even Hodor at will, something that no one ever thought possible. The group, tired and hungry, finally reach the three-eyed crow, who turns out to actually be a monstrous-looking Brynden Rivers, the albino bastard of Aegon Targaryen IV, who, by all accounts, should be long dead. He offers Bran an edible paste made out of weirwood bark in order to unlock his powers. Bran accepts, and is able to go inside a network of heart trees to see visions of the past. Ever a fan of stories and keen on becoming a knight one day, when we first meet him, Bran is a pretty normal, adventurous little kid. He's usually quiet and extremely introspective, but never unfriendly or insensitive, which makes him a well-paired match with his similar-minded direwolf Summer. While still carrying the faithful Stark trait of being honorable, Bran differs from his older brothers in several ways. He doesn't bear the heavy responsibility of being heir to the North like Robb, nor does he experience the emotional alienation like his bastard half-brother Jon. His priorities in life are simply daydreaming and climbing the highest towers of Winterfell. When you think about it, Bran actually has a lot more in common with his sister Sansa. He has Sansa's idealism and wonder, and although lacking her tendency to be overly trusting and naive, these two both change from having the concept of the ideal smashed by traumatic circumstances. After his fall, Bran becomes bitter at his situation. He struggles partly because of his limitations, but more so over his loss of freedom. Add this to the fact that he ends up left behind by every older family member he has, and it's not surprising that he finds a sense of wholeness and self-worth when he wargs into a powerful direwolf, getting to leave his broken body behind, even if only for a while. He looks to the crow beyond the wall, clinging to the hope that this mysterious figure will give him back some sort of new freedom. With his separation from his family, it makes perfect sense that he becomes so fascinated and later somewhat infatuated with Meera. To him, she's the embodiment of his father's unwavering loyalty, his mother's nurturing spirit, and the cheerful memories he shared with his siblings before darker shadows fell on House Stark. Bran is often described by fans as one of the few wholly good characters in a series full of the morally ambiguous. And while I do agree that he is a much lighter shade of grey than most of the characters in the series, you have to wonder what his dear old Pillar of Justice father would think about him skin-changing into Hodor against his will to the point where it traumatizes him, or warging into summer to eat human flesh just to get an artificial satiation of his own hunger for a few minutes. Acts that are on par with murder or rape? Well, hardly. He mostly only utilizes Hodor when he absolutely has to in order to protect himself or others, and the bodies he eats were already dead, with Summer just going to eat them anyways. So just like with any other character in the series, it's up to you as the reader to judge. Possibly the biggest question surrounding Bran is what his role is in the series. At this point, it's safe to say that he's in it for the long haul, following the rule of Chekhov's gun. That is, it seems unlikely that Martin would make a character with unique powers in a journey so far off the beaten path just to kill him off before he reaches some sort of conclusion. Otherwise, what's the point of creating him in the first place? Granted that George R.R. Martin could pull another Quentin Martell on us, but I think we're gonna see a lot more of Bran. His current apprenticeship with the Three-Eyed Crow and his journey through the Heart Trees has sparked a lot of fan theories as well. Will Bran be stuck in these trees forever? Will he become a spirit himself that people pray to? Are Bloodraven and the Children of the Forest deceiving Bran into setting off some sort of event? Will Bran become the new Three-Eyed Crow? I know the most popular I've seen is that Bran, now with his potential unlocked, will be able to skin change into a dragon if he so chose, and that this is the way he'll fly. So not only does he fulfill the quintessential prophecy or visions element that keeps us guessing, but I've always thought of Bran as the true main character of the series. Now, granted fiction should never have to conform to the rule of only having one protagonist, this series certainly doesn't, but I've just always had this nagging feeling in the back of my mind that it's Bran who's the spiritual heart of the story. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Never fear the darkness, Bran. The strongest trees are rooted in the dark places of the earth. Darkness will be your cloak, your shield, your mother's milk. Darkness will make you strong.